Dalvin Cook is holding out for a new deal, according to Adam Schefter. And even though I kind of saw this coming ahead of time, now it's one of those things where now that it's officially here, it's like, oh shit, it's really here now. We'll talk about it. And this standoff between Dalvin Cook and the Vikings, this is a situation where I can really see both sides of the coin. In the case of Dalvin Cook, we're talking about a guy who, forget the fact that in the sport of football, generally speaking, careers don't last long, but the running back position is at the bottom of the totem pole. You need to cash in. If you're a running back, cash in while it's hot. Coming off a 2019 season with over 1,600 yards from scrimmage and 13 touchdowns, he is the Vikings offense. So if you're the primary factor for your employer's success, you damn right that you want to go ahead and get paid as quickly as you can. So I can totally understand where Dalvin Cook is coming from. If you're the Minnesota Vikings, we're talking about potentially presenting the Brinks truck to a running back. Recent history tells you that that's not necessarily a good idea. David Johnson, no longer with the Arizona Cardinals. He's with the Houston Texans now. Still, he is a $6 million dead cap hit on Arizona's cap space. Todd Gurley, no longer with the LA Rams. He's now with the Atlanta Falcons. Still, over the next 2 years, the LA Rams have a $17.65 million dead cap hit based off of Todd Gurley's contract. And then Dalvin Cook, another thing, if you're the Minnesota Vikings, Dalvin Cook in 3 years has missed 19 games out of 48. That is absurd. So earlier in the past, I think this was a month or so ago, when Christian McCaffrey, when he signed his new deal with the Carolina Panthers, the whole talk was, oh, what does this mean for Dalvin Cook and his contract? And I said nothing. Absolutely nothing. Dalvin Cook, in the 3 years that he has played, he's missed 19 games. Christian McCaffrey, in the same 3 years, hasn't missed a single game. He has been active and has played in all 48 games for the Carolina Panthers the last 3 years. Also, if you're the Minnesota Vikings, push come to shove, we have Alexander Mattison. We can go ahead and fill him in and step him up as the RB1. So now, the Vikings, if you're the Minnesota Vikings, you have three options. Number one, sign him to a new deal. So when you evaluate the risk with the running back position as it stands by itself, plus Dalvin Cook's health, I've been on record saying this already on Twitter, Facebook, and in the previous podcast. I don't remember the last time that I talked about this. Maybe it was when Christian McCaffrey signed his new deal and I reacted to it. Based on those evaluations, I would sign Dalvin Cook to a 2-year fully guaranteed deal, $10 to $12 million per. That's it. We can reevaluate in 2 years once the contract is up. There is no way in hell that I'm going all out on a lucrative long-term extension for a running back who has a history of health issues. Number two, you can trade him. If you feel that Alexander Mattison can step up as the RB1, to be clear, I don't think that I need to see more of Alexander Mattison before I can make that bold statement. I think Dalvin Cook is one of the best running backs in the league when healthy, but that is the problem. I think last year, Alexander Mattison, if he was the RB1 all season long, I don't think the Vikings would have made the playoffs, but it's year two. It's a lot to ask a rookie running back to lead their team in a run-first offense to go to the playoffs. I understand that, but I'm not really quite there yet of saying, oh, Alexander Mattison, he can pick up where Dalvin Cook left off. I don't necessarily believe that, but if the Vikings do, you can trade Dalvin Cook, get a nice haul in return, and then that way you don't have to worry about paying a running back long-term money. And number three, call his bluff. You want to sit here and say, I'm going to hold out? If you're the Minnesota Vikings, you can say, okay, we'll play the waiting game. We'll have our arms crossed and folded and all that good stuff, and we'll see who blinks first. I wouldn't necessarily do that if I were the Vikings. I think Dalvin Cook is 100% serious. I think he's saying to himself that, listen, I am a running back. I don't have much time. I need to get as much money as I can. I would rather hold out than get paid chump change than play in the 2020 season without a new deal. Those are the three options. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. We do this at least once a week. Mediocre Best Sports Podcast with Realistic Randy. Check me out on Twitter at realistic_Randy, Facebook at realistic Randy. We'll see you next time.